sometimes it starts a little late, so I just want to make sure it doesn't cut on to me saying half of an important sentence, because this isn't important at all. This is just
testing.
This is just testing. That's all this is. So, but by now we're good. What's going on, everybody? This is the We Play Games podcast. I am Samurai Clyde.
I'm Chelsea Face.
Chelsea Face and Samurai Clyde. That's right. So, we've been wanting to do some stuff. We want to stream, but our lives are so hectic all the time. And, I still do stream, but I do it on YouTube because I enjoy the way that it categorizes it a little more.
Yeah.
And it saves it. Whereas on Twitch, it's very in the moment, and I just don't have the time to invest into just doing that right now at this moment.
And YouTube's not very user-friendly with Twitch uploads, we've noticed. Even if you go back later and you edit the categories and the tags and everything, they just don't... They don't support it. I can tell. We don't get nearly as many views, even if it's a better video.
So, anyways, back when we were in college, we had a show that we did on the radio station at college called, what was it? The Show About Things.
The Show About Things.
Right. And we really enjoyed it. And a lot of times we went on there and we talked about video games. And we just talked about whatever we wanted. We kept it vague enough to where we could literally talk about whatever we want. The Show About Things. As long as it was a thing, it was up to talk about. So, this is the We Play Games podcast. So we're going to take the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Playing, it may be a series. It may be just a random playthrough.
This really just fell on me out of nowhere. They announced an Assassin's Festival for GTA. I keep trying to say that. Final Fantasy 15. And wait. Oh wait. Okay, so I just need to load. Okay. Yeah, and I was like, this has to be a joke. It came up as news on my phone, like a news article, and I was like, this can't be right. And sure enough, it's
How do you feel about it?
I mean, it's a total marketing ploy, and I understand that. The way I look at it is like, it doesn't matter if it's a marketing ploy or what, as long as it's fun, Yeah. I just want to have fun when I'm doing a thing. So,
You're not disgusted?
I'm a little annoyed at how many times they say the word assassin.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we get it. Like, there's imagery. I mean, the fact that it's an Assassin's Festival and there's imagery everywhere of it and everything, I feel like that's enough. And the game, because the mechanics come over. There's now like a very limited integrated version of parkour, and you can do assassinations, but you can, it's not as fine-tuned as the Assassin's Creed series, which I wouldn't expect it to be.
Yeah, of course.
This is just an add-on, but literally the way I have a group on Facebook with my friends where we talk about games, and I said Square Enix or Ubisoft just came to Square Enix and was like, I'll give you $5 billion if you just jack off all over my game. And that's what this is to me.
Yeah.
But it's still fun, and it's really cool. Like, I like the aesthetic of Final Fantasy 15, and I like the aesthetic of Assassin's Creed. I feel like that's one of those things that really boosted Assassin's Creed up to where it is now, because it's just the aesthetic of it, the way it looks. This is not what I want. No.
And you spent all this time loading it.
I did.
It's fantasy.
Oh, gosh.
So, if you're watching the gameplay, we are playing Final Fantasy 15, like you said, and it's been loading this whole time we've been talking. So, now we're going to have to reload it.
How do I guess I'll just have to start from the beginning. Oh, no. Okay. Okay. I'll just start from the beginning again. Oh, well. Oh, well. That doesn't matter. I'll do its own save slot, then it cannot do that to me. Because I overwrote a save slot before, and I think it messed it up. Anyways, so, we're going to talk about things. Sometimes it's going to... Whoop, that's my voice. Because
Sorry.
My wife was looking at
I turned it on.
Checking it on a podcast.
I turned it on and mute. So.
On a computer. Anywho, sometimes we're going to talk about games. Sometimes we will talk about other things. Because there are other things that we like too in the world. Yeah. What are you going to do? What are you doing?
It's loud in my ears.
It's loud in your ears?
Yeah, I'm really sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. So, let's talk about some other stuff. Are you okay?
It's still really loud. I'm sorry.
No, it's... okay.
Okay, that's much better, yeah.
We're going to talk about some other things. Like, I can't barely hear it at all now. But that's okay.
Oh.
Wait.
Is your thing pushed in all the way?
Maybe not.
We're going through some tech things.
Yeah, this is the very first podcast, so we're experiencing some stuff. But anyways.
Is that better?
No, not at all. It's okay. Wait, can I not...
Wait, what? What's happening?
I'm not 100% sure. Anywho, let's talk about some other stuff. There was a huge fight over the weekend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Between May Gregor and McWeather.
Yeah.
And it went pretty much exactly how I thought it would.
Yeah.
I thought it was so crazy that it was even a thing that people were talking about. Like I'm surprised it was hyped up to the point where it was.
I guess there just hasn't been a good fight lately, is what I think it was.
Well, boxing has been kind of not as lucrative as it once was.
Yeah, maybe they were really hyping it up to bring it back or something.
Yeah, it really was a marketing ploy, and I mean you can even tell by the reactions of the fighters after it was over. They immediately got up and smiled and hugged.
They knew they made billions.
It's like, oh, we just made billions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, they were. It's like that gif of the dude wiping his tears with money. You know, it's just like. They don't, even if they lost badly, who cares? They just made a shiz ton of money.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I would kill for a bad day at work to be me going home with pockets of money.
Yeah, but would you still want that job if you got to work and there was a big ripped guy there who was going to attack you with everything that he had?
Yeah, but wasn't he retiring? Like it's your last day of work.
Oh, like that was your very last day of work?
And someone kicks your ass.
And someone would beat me up so I can retire and never have to work again?
You wouldn't give a shit.
It depends on who it was.
They weren't even bloody.
Oh, no. Like, no one even got laid out. I was kind of disappointed in that.
Yeah. I was hoping he would give him a good clock and knock him out.
But I mean, I figured Mayweather would win. I don't know much about Mayweather. I don't watch as much boxing as I do watch MMA. Mm-hmm. But I knew how good McGregor was. Yeah. Okay. So it's where I need to be.
Good.
Okay.
In the game.
It just confused me because it said it was going to override. I don't know. Anywho. So yeah. I don't know much about Mayweather or big boxing names, but I knew that he was undefeated, and I knew that he was undefeated 49-0, and I was just like, that was enough for me to go like, yeah, of course he's going to win. Like, it's a boxing match, and this guy is undefeated. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, of course. Who didn't see that coming? But a lot of people didn't. A lot of people love a Cinderella story.
Yeah, I think some people were secretly hoping he would win, but they knew he wouldn't.
Die! No.
Yeah, we might ought to turn the game down because I can hear everything.
For real?
Yeah, I can hear words.
It's so weird. Like, I can't hear.
Like, I bet
hardly
when
anything.
we listen to this recording of just it's going to have a lot of people talking over us.
Okay. Well, I will do that. Hold on. So yeah, technical things, like I said before, it's going to happen. This is kind
first
of
episode, it's going to happen.
So I'll turn it down to 10.
Try that. We'll get the numbers worked out.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Okay. Something else I was wanting to say is I've been noticing lately that there are a ton of reboots. And this has just been a thing in all sorts of media. Is that a flag? All sorts of media has been doing this. You got movies, TV.
Everybody wants to touch the butt.
Everyone wants to touch the butt. And, I mean, a part of me is, I'm a part of the problem sometimes. Enjoyed, like I'm so nostalgic for or whatever, but then eventually when they come out, it's never.
I think that's where the problem lies, is that the generation that they're making these for is ours. So all of these things that are being rebooted were made for 90s babies mostly. 80s, end of 80s, 90s babies. So everyone, they're riding the nostalgia train, but they don't think about these people have also grown up at the same time.
No.
So very few of them are successfully making a reboot because they're either because cartoons have mostly gotten dumber.
Yeah.
Or they've gotten way more intelligent. They're not really to the same level as they used to be anymore. You can't really go and find a Johnny Bravo anymore. It's either going to be too inappropriate to put on Cartoon Network, or it's going to be too stupid for any normal human being to watch.
Right.
Like Chowder.
Yeah. I mean...
So you've either got Adventure Time kind of quality content, or Gravity Falls, or you've got Chowder.
Well, I like spiritual successors to things.
Yeah.
Like, I like when things are...
They end it, but they still...
I for example, like, Dead Island came out, and I thought it was an okay game. I bought it, and it was like, yeah, it was fun. I would probably buy a sequel to this or whatever. And, instead of the sequel, Techland, who made Dying Light, went on to make I almost said Dead by Daylight. Went on to make oh my gosh, what am I talking about? They made Dead Island, and now they went on to make Dying Light. And I was much more excited for Dying Light than I was...
It was an
Dead
original concept, and it had...
It's too many deads. I can't keep up with the amount of dead I'm saying.
A lot of zombie games during that time.
Yeah.
It's easy to get them confused.
Oh, what do you think about...
Unless they did something different.
What do you think about the zombie Metal Gear thing?
I haven't even heard about it.
Oh, you haven't?
I don't think so.
So, after Kojima left, they announced... After Kojima left Konami, they announced that they are making Metal Gear... I can't remember what they call it, but it's pretty much... It's like a MOBA-y type of thing, like a squad-based combat thing, but it's gonna have zombies. And that's pretty much it.
So
like that's all we know about it so far.
It's just a zombie game.
But it's set inside the Metal Gear universe.
That means nothing.
It does to me, because it doesn't mesh well, in my opinion.
Well, of course it doesn't make sense, but it doesn't mean anything for a zombie game to be in a universe. That would be like saying that this is an Assassin's Creed add-on when there was like a poster somewhere of Assassin's Creed. Like,
right.
Maybe it is an homage, like it has a Easter egg.
Right.
But you can't say it's in the world if it's just a zombie game. Like they'd have to really.
But it is canon. Like it's Konami's property, and that's what they're doing with it.
Yeah, I guess it's just not gonna work. I guarantee it. A
lot of people are weirded out by it. People either love it or hate it.
I'm all for a good zombie game, but you can't just say, "Hey, we're gonna take this video game that everybody likes and we're gonna turn it into zombies." You can't just do that. It doesn't work every time.
I'm kind of played out by it, honestly. Like, if you're gonna do a zombie game, it needs to come with some kind of mechanic that's gonna change. That's gonna change what. It needs to change or update the genre in some way. Like the zombie genre. Yeah,
there's just so many zombie things.
Oh, yeah.
And I love zombies. Like, they're not overrun, I don't think. It's just people need to do them different. A little bit different than the other guys. Like, you've got to be different.
That was kind of my problem with Wolfenstein. I never beat Wolfenstein all the way through. I feel like I probably got pretty close to the end. I was playing it while I was in Hattiesburg over a summer. And, I just didn't beat it while I was there, and then I played it on a different PS4, and then whenever I got back home, I was like, oh, I don't really want to play this back up to the point where I was. Like, I invested too much time into it, now I'm like...
Like, you enjoyed the experience, but you would never want to go through it again. I've played games like that.
Yeah, and I mean, I enjoyed it, but at the same time, looking back on it, I'm like... they didn't really add anything to the FPS genre. Mm-hmm. It was just kind of a game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it was a good game. Like, it was really a solid... Well, I mean, you know the Wolfenstein story. It's like, you live in a world where Nazis won the World Wars. And, oh, that's going...
Your phone is doing something crazy.
Yep, that's not good. Okay. Yeah, you live in a world where the Nazis won, and now everything is Nazified. Uh-huh. And you're a guy who's like a part of the resistance movement.
So it's a good story, though. Is it okay?
Yeah, I guess. BJ Blazkowicz, that's his name. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
BJ Blazkowicz is the name of the, like, protagonist. And it's like... a little ridiculous, honestly. He's too much of a I can't relate to him. He's too macho.
He's over-exaggerated character.
Yeah, I'm just collecting okay, good God. I was like collecting stuff from that guy for 30 minutes. Okay, cool. But yeah, like it was hard to relate to him because he was too much like, I gotta kill some zombies or some Nazis, you know, and like that was like his whole character was he's just a guy, he's just gotta kill Nazis. And then like
That's it.
Like that's his whole thing. And I mean that's cool and everything, and like I said, the controls were really tight, but I just didn't really understand. I couldn't like get involved with the character, I guess.
Yeah.
Like my thing in games is I really enjoy story.
Yeah.
For example, like this game, like Final Fantasy 15, which is like the dude bro fuckboy like
let's touch each other's TVs.
Hangout simulator.
I love this game because of that.
Yeah, like I really do. Like I enjoy. Oh god.
It's so different because they've had Final Fantasy games where it was all chicks, and then they've had one dude, they've had one chick, they've had a couple of dudes, couple chicks. Okay. This one...
Did you hear that? Mm-mm. He said, Requiesca Empache.
Oh, God.
I thought... I don't know. That's a neat little nod.
I like that this game is a bunch of sausages, so...
Yeah. Like, there's definitely like a homoerotic...
At least with
tone.
Prompto.
Well, just all of them. Like... There's definitely like homoerotic undertones in this game, which doesn't really bother me. There's nothing else really out there like it.
Yeah, I love it.
They're human enough to where I like really enjoyed just riding around in a car and listening to what they had to say and like, you know.
Yeah, they were good characters.
Yeah,
like they weren't just NPCs with different hair.
Where you have the opposite end of the spectrum where there's like Wolfenstein, and it's like it's a solid first-person shooter. Everything feels like it should, but doesn't like blow you out of the water.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, there's Nazis and you gotta kill them, and like that's the whole thing.
Yeah, everybody knows Nazis are bad. You don't have to nail that in.
I don't know, babe. Not everybody knows it.
I know. Anyone with a brain knows. Is what I'm getting at.
But yeah, like I just feel like there's enough. There's just enough of. We're getting to the point to where people can't come up with new ideas, and they're just rebranding things. Like things are coming out, and nostalgic people are like, "Oh my God, did you hear about the blah 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 reboot?" Mm-hmm. And I wish I could think of some right now. I know like Power Rangers, Crash Bandicoot just came out again. Oh, what's that? Okay. There's a Edward Kenway. I haven't seen one of them yet.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and there was a Desmond.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay. But yeah. Well, no, leave me alone. I don't know how they do it. Like I watch podcasts where people play games and they talk, and I'm having like the hardest time concentrating
easy.
while I'm playing and keeping my mind on the story that I'm trying to talk about.
Men supposedly aren't as good at multitasking, so.
Well, I've seen dudes do it. But yeah, like it's getting to the point to where it's really hard to.
Well, if I could play this game, I would take the controller from you, but I cannot.
Ah, gosh. Okay. But yeah, like Power Rangers is doing it. Where did everybody go? Who's another big one? Ah, crap.
It's hard to think of them right now.
Blade Runner's coming out again. A lot of sci-fi stuff. Ghost in Shell.
I guess you could count the Death Note as a reboot.
Yeah, Death Note, which, I mean, it's not even that old, and it's rebooted.
Yeah.
Spider-Man gets rebooted every, 20 minutes.
I don't even think about Spider-Man. They come out with a new one. If there isn't one every year or two, I'm like, is something wrong?
Yeah.
Did they die?
Well, I mean, it's a little strange.
They're not the worst movies either. Like, they're not all great, but I've seen much worse. So I'm not too disappointed in any of the Spider-Mans, but I'm not impressed with some of them either. I guess I'm not mad, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. But I would be more okay with people taking the mechanics of a game that already exist
and making
a new thing out of it, right? Instead of just rebooting the thing again.
Kind of like what they're doing with the Assassin's Creed 4 pirate part.
They're making their own game out of that.
Yeah.
Which it's a really smart move on Ubisoft's.
People love that shit.
Ubisoft's part, because there's a lot of people who don't like Assassin's Creed. But they love that
game.
This is a glitch. Okay, there we go. I got stuck on that yesterday. But yeah,
making up glitches.
But yeah, the Ubisoft's really smart for doing that, and I think with Assassin's Creed, we just had so much of it shoved at us to the point to where it was smart of them to back up a little bit and start just give us a break, and then give us something completely different, like with Egypt. I think that was a smart move on their part, and this game is exactly a point of why I think Assassin's Creed isn't as good as it could be. And that's because Assassin's Creed likes to jerk their own dick around a lot. And that's exactly what this is.
Yeah.
Like, it's them going like, ooh, look, don't you want to be an assassin? Look at Noctis talking about how cool it is to be an assassin. Assassin. And I think
that I get what they were going for. Like, the kids are like, they actually like the game, but they haven't shown any evidence of video games in this game until now.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like if you're watching a country themed, like an old western, and then all of a sudden they say that, oh yeah, we have guns now, because in some movies guns don't exist, but if someone just pulls out a fucking gun after they've been fighting with swords, or you're like, you get weirded out whenever you see that in a movie. Like when they go from using weapons and hands to fucking pull out a gun.
Discontinuity is strange.
That's exactly what this is. They did
He will not stop looking at me.
Because if they had...
I need to assassinate him. I don't know how.
If they had Noctis and Prompto talking about video games at several points randomly throughout the actual Final Fantasy 15, I think that this wouldn't feel as weird. It feels like they didn't plan for it, so it must have been done after the game was already made. And I think that's a mistake, because they could have made it a lot more canon, I guess you could say, to the world if these guys were always talking about nerdy shit.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing, I'm sure they didn't create Final Fantasy 15 and, in the storyboard of the game, they're like, okay, then we're going to do an Assassin's Creed festival here. I mean, this is a thing that Ubisoft came to them after Ubisoft saw what Final Fantasy 15 was and then proposed it to them. And
I just wish they had
agreements. But
because it's so out of place. I mean, it's not bad. I think it's a neat little thing, but they're making the characters act like they've always had a passion for this game when we've just met these characters and gone through this journey, and they never once mentioned this game until now.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. But I will give you an example of what I was talking about a while ago about Assassin's Creed just really just loving to jerk. In my opinion, it started in Assassin's Creed 3. Because one kind of flew under the radar. No one really cared. I mean, it was a decent game. I had it. I had friends who had it, but in the end, it was just like a neat game, a launch title for the PlayStation 3, and it was like, oh, it's kind of cool. I like the aesthetic of it, and we didn't know any better. It was just like, no, stop looking at me. I don't know what to do about this guy.
Touch his pee-pee.
Anyways.
That's what he wants. He likes when little boys touch his pee-pee. I'm sorry.
Maybe. But Assassin's Creed 3, you started getting the costumes, right?
Uh-huh.
And you could change your costume to look like Ezio. And it was like, oh, and then it was cool. It was like, oh yeah, I loved Ezio so much. Everyone loves Ezio. And I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. It's the first time that happened. And then in Assassin's Creed 4, you could be Altair or Ezio or Connor. You had all these different costumes. And then in Assassin's Creed 5, you could be Altair or Ezio or Connor or Edward, and it just kept on and on and on, and it's just like, oh, you remember this game? Oh, didn't you have such a good time? And eventually it's just like, okay, yeah, I mean, I did.
I think that takes away the fun of the actual character, though. Like, that's what I think the main problem. I don't think the glitches were the problem with Unity. I think it was the point of they had no identity to the assassin.
Yeah, I mean, they made a vanilla Ezio.
The character has to be interesting. And I get that people like the costumes, but if I went and changed every assassin to look just like Altair, like say he was my favorite, then they would just all be Altair.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't matter to me. I feel like, I mean, this is just my personal. I'm sure some people love it. But personally, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't change their costume from the vanilla unless I was just upgrading gear. Because I think it takes away from that character. Like, you need to see them as they were made and created and thought to be seen.
Yeah. Like, I have hopes for the new one coming out because it seems like they're trying to switch up the formula. They've had the same formula since 2. Like, 2 really was a huge dramatic upgrade over 1. I know you've never played 1.
No.
And 1 is just like you have 3 different types of missions. You have like a beat 'em up mission. You have a beat 'em up mission. You have a eavesdropping mission, and you have like one other. I can't remember what the third one was. But you pretty much do these 3 missions over and over again. But it was cool in the story because you got to like learn more about the person, each assassin target. There was like maybe 5 or 6 in the whole game. And you just kind of you really learned why this person needed to die before you did it, which was a neat thing. But it was kind of boring. Like, you just kind of did the same thing over and over. And
well, they were playing around with the first one.
Yeah.
I don't think you can really judge a game if it's going to be a franchise too harshly by the first one, as long as they keep going.
And then the second one was much less formulaic.
Yeah.
It was like the same controls and everything, but it was like a story from beginning to end. Whereas Assassin's Creed 1 more felt like a moment in time. It didn't feel like a story that expanded over time. It was just like, you're an assassin, and you're doing assassin stuff, and then you do enough of it, and then the game ends, Whereas, like, Ezio is like, you're much more invested in his story as a person.
I also don't like in this adaptation of this integrated into Final Fantasy, I don't like that they all have the new character's costume. Like, every single one in your group has it.
Yeah.
I think Noctix should wear it, but the rest of them should be maybe like the side game characters. Like, what's the black guy's name?
Adewale?
Yeah, he wasn't a main character. Maybe one of them has his, maybe one of them has the girl. Like, I think it should be different, but also recognizable. Because, you see random characters wearing, like, Ezio, all that stuff, but all your friends are wearing dude that we don't know yet.
Bayuk.
I don't even recognize them because they all look the same.
Bayuk, I think.
Yeah, we'll learn him once we get there.
Oh, yeah.
That's just a nitpicky thing for me.
Anyways, Destiny 2 is coming out.
Woo!
Very soon. It's coming out on Wednesday.
How excited are you?
I am super duper stoked. And I just got done seeing the live action trailer that was released today.
Oh, it's so good.
I always enjoy the live action trailers that they do.
They work so hard on those.
I know, like,
very impressed.
Yeah, it makes me appreciate it a lot more. And I mean, it's not the perfect game. The first one definitely was not the perfect game. But I never really played MMOs or anything. I never was enticed with the idea of just clicking. Like, to me, MMOs were a grind, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like, you clicked a button over and over until you beat the person you're fighting. There wasn't like an amount of skill, really.
That's not really true. I mean, depending on the game.
I watched my cousin Aaron play EverQuest when I was younger, and he would play it, and he would just there would be a list of moves across the bottom, and he would take his mouse cursor and he would go over one, and he would go up to an enemy and he would click it, and then over time it would fill up, you know. You can only use it once for so many seconds or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then he would go through and he would click these things until he won. And then he would go on to the next one. And then there was like PvP, but it was just like they both... No! There we go. Jeez. There was like PvP, but the person who won was just the person who grinded more and had the better and more stronger moves because they've played more.
Well,
there wasn't like an amount of skill to it, in my opinion.
That was just the one you watched, though.
Yeah.
And that was a long time ago. And a ton of MMOs, but I do know that they've gotten way more complex. And the ones that I have watched are more anime based, like kawaii. But
that's good.
Thanks. But depending on the style of the MMO, they do have a theme throughout them, kind of like, you know, how Final Fantasy games and Assassin's Creed games have a theme for how they go.
Right.
But, you know, they do have a little bit of difference in their fighting mechanic. I mean, some of them are more, I guess more RPG style, because MMOs and RPGs are slightly different.
Yeah.
I would say some of them are very basic, like what you said. You just click something and things happen. But I've seen a lot of them be more like a Final Fantasy. Like, you pick your moveset, like Pokemon, you know? Like, you pick a thing and you do the thing. But it's based on strategy, like elements and gear, and if you've got, like, extra monsters who can help you. And, you know, it is a lot to do with whoever grinds the most. Because that's the whole point of the game, is to get the better stuff and to show off and get friends who are good and be in a clan or a group or something and then gang up on something and do a quest together, you know?
Right.
It's more about the community, I think, than just beating the game. Because you can't really beat them.
Oh, yeah, that's what I've always said, like, the one good thing, because this is back when I had, like, a PlayStation 2. There wasn't really this focus on multiplayer and playing with other people.
It wasn't huge yet.
Yeah, and I've always said, like, the one good thing about MMOs was that you got to meet all these people from around the world in this really easy to digest like format. And that's why I always used to laugh at games like Dragon Age, because I was like, you're just playing an MMO but without all the people.
Dragon Age is fantastic, though.
Yeah.
It's a great story, and yeah, it's very MMO feeling, like it feels like you're playing one, but it does have characters and a story to it. No. And you know, I haven't played every single one of them, but I have seen people who are so passionate about it, and they're really obsessed with certain characters, like the elf character. Like, I'm thinking in particular, the new one, what was it called?
Dragon Age Inquisition.
Yeah, the elf guy, I cannot remember what his name was, but people were obsessed with him. Because they do have a character in the game. Like, you get to build your own character, but the other ones kind of already have their own, and you just make a decision, and then they base their opinion on you.
I played a little bit. Yeah, I don't know why. Well, I do know, because what were we? We were talking about reboots. We were talking about Assassin's Creed for a while. Destiny 2.
Yeah.
I didn't play the beta, and according to a lot of people, the beta for Destiny 1 was really... It promised too much, I guess. And, like, the hype for it promised too much. And everyone complains because it promised too much. But I guess I just came at it from a different angle because I didn't really know what it was. and I really knew nothing about it before I got it. It came with a bundle with the system that I got.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'll give it a go. I liked Halo, so I tried it. And, I mean, honestly, I was blown away. Because I was like, I'd never played anything like this. Especially coming from PS3. The only thing I'd really played a bunch of multiplayer was Halo Reach.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's the only thing I'd really played an abundance of multiplayer, and I hadn't even played that much. And then suddenly these other people with usernames just started showing up. Like, I didn't invite them to a game or anything, and this wasn't a multiplayer match. It was just I was in the middle of a single player experience, and then other people were just there and experiencing it with me. And I feel like we take that for granted.
Yeah, it was the first game that I've ever played that you didn't have to do anything to play with people. And people, I mean, it did have flaws with the single player, but I mean, dude, you're like, it's like the whole cupping the balls thing. No one does it good enough. Nothing is good enough for gamers.
Yeah.
And I'm so disappointed in the community mostly. I mean, I'm sure there's some people who are really great, but
I don't want to
overall, the community is just like ungrateful.
I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, I don't want to sit here and act like Destiny's the perfect game because it's not. But I feel like on the other hand, people, I don't know,
they didn't appreciate
it. It was a thing that never existed before, and it existed now, and everyone's like, it's not good enough, and I'm like, that's such a weird way to look at it.
For it being their first independent thing, and it being that amazing, okay, give them a break. If the next one sucks, you can yell at them then. But for what the first one was, I was very impressed. Of course, the story could be better, but come on, they had like so many elements that had never been done before on a console, and people were bitching about it. Like, yeah. I just don't think that's fair. Like, I don't think that's fair at all to the company. When you know, based off of how much fucking PR it got, how hard they've been working on that thing.
Yeah, I mean,
I just think people are ungrateful. And if the next one sucks, then you can yell at them. Because they've had time to learn and to do things, and they've got... I mean, do you remember ever experiencing a bug in Destiny 1?
A bug.
At all. I don't.
I can't say I do, but then again, I came into the party late. Like, you know, I wasn't there for the beginning.
But still, like, I don't remember seeing any posts about it or anything.
Well, the thing is like everyone makes fun saying, you know, like, oh, there's people that still play Destiny. Like, that's a big joke.
It's a huge bunch of people that do.
Yeah, but there is still a huge community, and I'm active on the subreddit. And, whoopsie. No.
Yes.
So, I look on the subreddit sometimes, and there are the community of people who play it are very close-knit.
Yeah.
The good people. I mean, there's jerks, and I have played with those jerks before. You know, people who just like, you're not playing it the way I play it, and blah, 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 like, what's wrong with you? I mean, and that's gonna
be with any game.
That's gonna be with any community.
There's gonna be a toxic community, even in like My Little Pony. You know, like any community is gonna have some toxic people.
Yeah, no, most definitely, and that's but that being said, I think it's just because of how seamless everything is.
It's perfect as far as like quality, like the game is concerned, like the physical product.
I'm not gonna say perfect.
No, I'm talking about the look and the build of it. Like, from my playing, of course, you know, someone else may have had bugs out the ass, but other than the story, and maybe a couple of things could have been better, but as far as the gameplay went, I saw no flaws in it. Like the physical game, like even this game right here, I'm seeing some like frame drops or something. Like, I'm seeing some glitchy stuff going on, and it's a wonderful, perfect, wonderful game, you know? Like, Square Enix knows their shit, and Ubisoft is okay, but, you know, for a company that kind of started on their own, you know. Like
I mean, they had some backing. I mean, I'm not going to act like
they're not indie, but at the same time, they took the chance to do the thing, and they did the thing well. Is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not kissing the dick of Destiny, but I like that. I really like that phrase. But they heard one or two people bitching about it, and it's the Nickelback effect. It really is the Nickelback effect. Like, if you hate it, you genuinely hate it, sit down and write down the reasons why you hate this game. And then, like, if you've got a good list of legit reasons, then cool. You hate the game. Good for you. You know, if you hate it, you hate it. But if you sit down to make that list and the only reason you've got is, well, so-and-so said they hated it, or, it's the story. You know, like, if that's the only thing you've got, you're just ungrateful.
Yeah.
Like, you need to form your own opinion. You need to realize that this is a new IP, kind of, and that it's going to have some troubles. Especially story-wise, maybe, you know? Like, I'm sure the first Halo wasn't the best game in the world.
Yes, it was.
No, I'm sure it wasn't. I didn't play it, but I'm sure every first installment, like you said, Assassin's Creed wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Not very good.
What was that? That was so weird.
Holy shit.
Okay.
That was the funniest fucking thing.
No, leave me alone. Stop talking to me.
In the game, if you're a listener.
I just reached for this guy and he did a weird little ninja move and
no, it wasn't even ninja. It was like a
twisty thing,
ballerina thing to get out of the way. Like, who are you? And it was just so flamboyant and unnecessary that we both just busted out laughing.
I'm thinking, like, what would it take for me to say, you know, like, Destiny 2 is a good game and Destiny 2 is a bad game? Because I try to judge everything on its own merits.
You haven't even seen it yet, though.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I'm not going to say it's great or it's not because I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. People have already decided, though.
But, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to think what it would take for me to be like, this game is shit, or for me to go, this is an awesome game.
I think if there's a lot of bugs. Like, if it's completely unplayable, of course.
Oh, no! I'm
like, with, like, how apparently Assassin's Creed Unity was. Like, we didn't really experience that other than in the crowd. It got a little buggy, but...
I had frame rate drops, but other than that, I didn't really experience, like, any falling through the floor
or faces being chopped off or anything.
But that was mainly PC problems, which, I'm sorry, but if you own a PC, I mean... good on you. I wish I did have a PC, but when it comes to ports from consoles, I mean, there's problems. I'm not saying it's excusable. It's a thing that needs to be fixed.
But they obviously don't care enough about the ports.
Yeah, I mean,
it must not be a big market if they don't work on them harder. Is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's the most vocal. It's a vocal minority. It's the least amount of money that a company makes, and it's the people who complain the most.
Yeah. I get why they complain because they spend so much money on their rigs. And
they want the most, like they want it to run at the highest frames and do this and do that and everything, but they also buy the least amount of copies.
You are getting your ass
and
ripped
a lot of
apart.
times they buy the least amount of copies at the least amount of price, like at the lowest price, because of things like Steam sales and stuff like that.
Not to mention a lot of people download them illegally, and you can't do that on a console.
Yeah.
So I guess that's another reason why they don't care as much, because they know probably half the people who have the game fucking stole it.
Right.
And I can't say I blame them.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
He is staring into our soul.
Oh, those people just popped up there. Speaking of bugs.
What are these green lady samurais that I'm seeing here?
They're Magitech things.
Oh, okay.
I also think there's a lot of little hints and subtle things that I would understand more if I played the episodes. Like, there's a thing where Prompto was talking about, like, oh, they brought him back from the dead just to blah, 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 and he was like, what are you talking about there?
How much is the episode bundle?
I think the whole thing is, like, $40, or you can get... Or you can get the season pass is $40, or you can pay $20.
Dude, you just walked into that minefield.
I didn't know those were mines. I had never seen those.
They activated though.
Oh, I did know it.
Boy.
Boy. Why did I not kill that guy just then?
Cause you a cracker.
You a stupid hoe. Yeah, for me, it's just like I really want more story.
Yeah.
With the second one,
everyone does.
The first one, I mean, I admit it lacked. It lacked really hard. Every time that it got close to being a story,
it would just turn off.
They would just be like, I don't have time to explain to you the things, and then it would just kind of die.
Yeah, I will agree that one scene in particular, other than the cheesiness of it, it was like I
think I messed up.
They had written the story right there, but they'd realized they didn't have the money to do it or something. I don't know why they just dropped that bomb. Like, I don't have time to explain. Well, then why even have this scene?
Yeah, why even bring it up if you're not going to explain it?
Just don't have the scene. You would have less pissed off people. And once again with the Dinkle bot, I don't understand the hate.
Yeah, I don't understand the hate for the Dinkle thing. I mean, he's a robot.
Who cares? Yeah, he's a fucking robot. And I don't hate the new guy, but he's no better, in my opinion.
Oh my gosh.
In complete, like, just my opinion.
Whatever. Yeah, I mean, it depends on who will be to play. Prompto. He's been with me so far. Why not keep him?
You're not gonna get my boy Ignis?
No.
Ignis is my baby.
So, yeah, I mean, I want more story. I don't want more of the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want it to be different somehow.
Well, they keep promoting it like it's different.
I mean, I played the beta. Oh
shit.
Oh gosh. The Crucible is definitely different, and I'm not super crazy about it, honestly.
They have been listening to the community though. Like, they have been listening to the people who have been bitching about that on the Reddit.
Yeah.
So, the subreddit. So I feel like they might change some things, and if not, they're just gonna be like, this is how it is now, and you have to get over it. Because they're trying to make it an esport, I think, is what people are saying.
An esport? The reason I don't think it can be an esport is because they don't, like, the stats are different for the play. Like, it's a game. It's a game based off of a loot system.
But isn't Overwatch the same way?
Yeah, but the loot system on Overwatch is strictly like aesthetic. Like, you don't get like a new gun that does this much damage.
Okay.
That.
Yeah, I guess there might be a mode where you can turn all that off though, kind of like with Halo, or not Halo, but with I guess the only example I can think of would be Grand Theft Auto, where you can do all the same car.
Okay.
Or you can do customs.
Yeah.
I think there's probably a mode where they can do that.
They're gonna just have like a standard, a base loadout for.
And if you get the heavy ammo, good for you. But if not, you're just fucking.
That's something I think Destiny 2 should have too, is loadouts.
Yeah.
They should have like 3 loadouts, one for, or maybe even 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not 3. We'd say like a regular, like a patrol loadout, a PvP loadout, and a like raid and nightfall loadout.
Yeah.
That'd be great. That'd be awesome. But they're not gonna do it.
Them Derek guys ain't gonna do that.
Or maybe they will. I don't know. I feel like they would have told us by this point if they were going to. But what can you do? We were talking about reboots a while ago. You know what reboot I think was done correctly?
What?
Was Mortal Kombat.
The movies or the games?
The movies haven't been rebooted yet.
Okay.
Which if they had been, I would be watching them right now.
So the games.
But the games, yeah. Because they rebooted it in 2009 or 10?
I think it was 9.
2009?
So I had to guess.
Yeah, they oh, look at that.
Oh, that's actually really cool. A firework that looks like the Assassin's Creed symbol.
But I can't even think about Words. Fireworks are distracting me.
You're so easily distracted.
I am, man. This is not for me.
We need a game that I can play with you. Like, I can take the controller, because you're struggling on focusing.
I am really struggling right now.
It's funny.
I'm gonna have to play easier games or something. But yeah, Mortal Kombat, the reason it was that's the end. The reason it's a good reboot, in my opinion, is because they didn't do the exact same thing. They didn't just go, this is Mortal Kombat, we're just going to tell it to you again in shinier graphics.
Yeah.
They rebooted it, but they completely changed the universe. They took things that you knew happened in the original, but then they spun it on its head because people in the universe knew what was going to happen and tried to change it, and therefore changed the timeline a little bit. So even though it was a reboot, technically, it still changed the world of Mortal Kombat and kept it progressing and changing.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat X would never exist in the original timeline of Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
It couldn't exist. The elements weren't there.
They've got a good team of, like, story builders based on a fighting game. Like, I'm pretty impressed of how they've kept it going, and they don't just go, hey, I'm gonna fight you. Okay.
I'm really excited because Injustice 2 is out, which means we're that much closer to the next installment of Mortal Kombat. Because they do it off of a 5-year. I think they have a 5-year pattern where they go, no, it's not 5. It's like 3 or 4. I can't remember. But pretty much they go,
is this game done?
It might. I'm just all over the place. It might be 2 years. I think it's like Mortal Kombat, and then 2 years Injustice, and then 2 years Mortal Kombat, and then 2 years Injustice. So they swap back and forth.
Yeah.
Right? I can't remember how many years, but that's how they do it.
Yeah.
And that means we're that much closer to
a new Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, we're going to get a new Mortal Kombat. And I'm excited because I want to see where they go.
Yeah.
Because they have written themselves so far in the future.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to make Raiden a bad guy.
Yeah! And that would be awesome.
Yeah, they've set it up for him to be with the zombie people. The zombie versions.
Yeah, then that's another thing I didn't like about Mortal Kombat X.
It didn't do anything with them.
Well, not just that. The arcade version of the game has Kung Lao and Liu Kang as humans with, like, personalities based off the fact that they were zombies.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the story, they never become human.
Yeah.
And that's so weird to me.
I think it's a little misleading.
Yeah, it's very strange. Like, why... why would you do that?
I don't know.
Party like an assassin. Woo! But yeah. That was strange to me. But, I mean, I guess it doesn't matter. You have characters that are so old in Mortal Kombat that they should not be doing what they do. But it doesn't matter because it's a fighting game and who gives a shit. Like, Shunjinko in Mortal Kombat Deception was like 80 or something, you know? Like, he shouldn't be doing what he's doing, but...
Well, half the shit in those games isn't realistic anyways.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I'm not really... I was worried for a second that... I was like, oh, well, Johnny Cage won't be able to be in it because he'll be too old or something, but... No, it won't.
Unless they need that for a story, like to kill him off to piss off his daughter, then I don't think they'd do it.
Right.
But they'd need a new Johnny Cage of some sort.
Yeah, a new comic relief.
Yeah.
I like that he was the hero in MKX.
Oh yeah, that was really cool.
I like that he was the like his family, I guess, was the protagonist.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the family, even if it wasn't functional. I continue.
Do I look like Edward Kenway?
I still hate Sonya. Like, yeah, she's still a terrible person.
Oh, I finished The Defenders last night.
Oh, really?
I watched, yep. It was only 8 episodes long, and I was on episode 6 when I got in bed, and we went to bed early, so...
Okay.
I was like, I'll knock this out. And I gotta say, not a fan.
Really?
Yeah, did not like it.
Is it over?
Yeah, the show ended, and I was like, that wasn't very good.
Wow.
Which I haven't really felt about any of them. Like, the writing was just terrible in The Defenders. Like, there were things and motivations that just didn't make sense. The Iron Fist, Danny Rand, was just a fucking, like, just a fucking idiot. Like, the things he didn't make sense. Like he wanted to fight them. Like, he got them all together, and then they were like, Danny, you got to do this really sensible thing that makes perfect sense why we would want you to do this. And he's like, what? No, I will fight all of you. And then they, like, tied him to a chair, and he's like, why are you tying me to a chair? This doesn't make any sense. Why are you so mad? And I don't know.
Just bad writing.
It was just weird and
like
bad.
Like the actor was trying to make up for the bad writing. Like, out of character.
It did not make sense.
And it had the girl in it.
But then...
She's terrible.
Oh, you mean Jessica Jones?
Yeah.
I don't mind Jessica Jones as much as I really don't like Elektra. I don't like the actress that plays Elektra. I don't think she's very good at all. And they brought her back as, like, the main bad guy of this series. And I
do like that they had Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah, Sigourney Weaver's character was really well, no, I won't even say that, because they could have done, like, she was interesting to me because I made her interesting in my head, but now that I think about it, just on film, she wasn't really that interesting. She didn't really do...
They didn't give them much to do.
Yeah, they didn't. She didn't really have anything to do. Like,
they get these really good the good actress,
I'm just going
and they didn't give her anything to do.
Yeah, and then at the end, I'm not gonna spoil it for anyone who wants to watch it, but at the end, one of the defenders makes a decision. Okay, the slight spoilers. I'm not going to spoil the entire thing, but I'm going to be very vague as I can be, while still explaining why it's bullshit. At the end, one of the Avengers makes a decision.
Defenders, you mean?
What'd I say?
Avengers.
One of the defenders makes a decision that to take his or her own life that didn't make any sense.
So he just did it for nothing.
Yeah, like he's like they kept talking about like oh, they sacrificed themselves for us, and like we couldn't have done it if they wouldn't have sacrificed themselves.
But yeah, they
could
have.
Yeah, you totally could have.
Yeah,
you did not have to die just there. And then they spent like the last half of the last episode just being like, aren't you so sad? Aren't you so sad that this character's dead now?
That's a cop-out because they didn't...
But then, the last 5 seconds of the show is that character, like, waking up in a hospital bed. And I'm like, you just spent so much time making us, like, sad about this thing. And then you're just like, just kidding. Like, which I wasn't sad to begin with. I was just mad because I was like, why would this character do this? And then you can't. And then you even puss out on that. Like, yeah, I was so mad.
It sounds like to me that if they didn't really kill them, it sounds like a cop out. Like they didn't know how to end the show, so they said, let's something that will get people's heart.
It's something that there's no way they could have survived.
Yeah,
there's no way they could have survived. And then
maybe they were dreaming.
No, he woke up. And they were all like covered in like bandages and cut up and everything. Okay. But I was like, there's no how did what? You know, like it just didn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
And the character is usually really stable and like the level-headed one, and it just none of it made any sense. I was very...
So I know who it is. But I mean, I'm not really into the series, so I just hate what's her face. I keep wanting to call her Sarah.
Jessica Jones.
I hate her so much. I'm sorry. She's a terrible character.
I don't
know if it's the actress.
So much.
I don't know if it's the actress or if it's just the character herself. But I fucking hate that character.
She's written to be a hard ass.
Well, I don't care about that. Like, you can be a hard ass. I think Luke Cage has some unlikable qualities. I think he can kind of be just, well, I'm using the race card now. Even though it has nothing to do... Like, in The Defenders, he pulled that out for no goddamn reason. Like, do you remember that?
Yeah,
He pulled the... Like, why did he pull out the race card? I mean, I get when it's necessary.
His character is... I mean, I think back to the comics, right? And, like, he... I mean, his character was made in a time when his whole thing was Harlem. Like Harlem is,
I get
Harlem's
when it's in the situation.
He's a superhero that's for this demographic.
But
of
he
people.
literally went to Iron Dude Face's house, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He went there, and then he started some racist shit. Like, the guy was nice to him, fairly nice. I mean, they were fighting.
I mean, but
why did he pull that shit out? Like, how did he know he was rich? He was in a shitty little dojo.
Everyone knows who Danny Rand is.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. Like, I felt like that was a real dick character.
He was mad because he met him, help him out of a bad situation. Yeah. And it's like, you got this kid. It'd be like if one of my students, if I caught someone beating up one of my students for the first time.
Yeah, but wouldn't you say why instead of you're racist?
I guess.
I don't know. I think a logical human being wouldn't just go, oh, a rich white kid's beating up on my black friend. I would go, why the F are you beating up this kid? I wouldn't just assume they were racist.
I can look past that. There's writing in that show that's much worse than that.
I guess. I just think that if you're going to pull that card, which is fine, I think it's fine to do that as a writer. It needs to make sense. Like, it needs to make sense to me. He pulled a really racist move, in my opinion, saying because he's white, he's got money. Even if he does, like, he just, I don't know, man. Like, that just really annoyed me that instead of judging him for who he is, he judged him because he's got money.
I know.
And, oh, white boy got money. Well, there's black people who got money, too.
Yeah, but he's
like,
Danny Rand.
What the fuck does that have to do with
the money
anything?
thing is only because he's... Like, it'd be like Bruce Wayne.
But wouldn't you wonder why this famous dude that you know by name, apparently, and you know this guy's rich, why would you think he was beating up some kid you know? Like, wouldn't you be like, why is this random rich white guy in the alley beating up this little kid? Like, I feel like that's so... Like, there's no reason for him... I don't know. I'm overanalyzing it, I guess.
I don't know. I don't look at it that way. I just see two characters, and character motivations don't necessarily have to make sense to me as long as it fits their character mold.
I guess.
Right? Like, as long as it's not, like, Luke Cage takes a lot of pride, like, well, I don't want to say pride, but he's the defender of, like, Harlem youths, and, like, he's trying to set people on the right. So that motivation...
Without making sure they're actually good, on the good side.
Yeah, like, that motivation makes sense to me, because he's very protective of, like, Harlem youths or whatever.
But he's dumb, because he doesn't see if they're on the good side or not. Like, you can't say you're a protector of the weak.
But he thought he was a good kid. He was like, he's a good kid,
I guess.
Whatever. There were scenes that you didn't see before that of their interactions together.
Yeah, well, I saw, I just think that, I don't know. I see the flaws. He's a good character. Like, I'm not saying Luke Cage, he's a good actor, good character. I just hate Jessica Jones. I get that she's a hard ass. I get that she hates everybody and everything, and her job is like a thing, but she hates it, and she's miserable, but she's still sexual, and she has she's just a very deep individual who does not want to be understood and doesn't like you and doesn't want anything to do with you. But she's awful. Like, she's not, it's not that she's not relatable, because everyone has the Daria inside of them. Everybody Daria. Has the Daria.
Release your inner Daria.
Yes, I have had days where I'm just the Daria of Darias. But she has nothing at all other than that. Like, she is just a blank slate of hatred. Like, that's all her character is. She has no weaknesses in her heart. Like, if you're gonna have, like, a villain, like, even a villain who's supposed to be a hard-ass MFer, he's got something that makes him soft. You know?
Right.
Like, think of every villain you can think of. There's something that makes them human, that makes you go, oh, well, maybe they're not as bad.
Make them relatable.
She is not at all interesting, relatable, likable, or even likable because you hate her. Like, to me, she's just the most annoyingly bland character I've ever seen anyone come up with. I don't understand her. And I don't like her, even if I don't... there's some characters you don't identify with, but you still like them because they're an interesting character. I've never been one for villains, really.
Right.
But I can understand, that villain needs to exist because this... I don't see her having a reason to exist. I just don't.
That's a very strong opinion, and I do not share it with you.
She's a fake character. Why does it matter?
I don't love you.
Oh, okay.
I don't love her or anything. I mean,
think about it. What is her power?
She's really strong.
So is everybody else.
Yeah, I mean,
what the fuck does that matter?
I don't know. I guess she sucks.
She's got tits. Like, is that it? She's tits and strong.
Well, I mean, that's a lot of heroes.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. She's got to be different. She needs to have something, and to me, she's just a blank black canvas. That's what I see when I hear that character. I'm just too good to be here, and you get on my fucking nerves. Like, that's all I hear.
You're very passionate about that.
I'm annoyed by her, yes. I haven't even seen the whole show, and I'm annoyed by her because every clip I see her in, she gives nothing to the scene. Nothing.
All right, so we're going to end the podcast. So thanks for listening, and yeah, let us know what you think. I do gaming streams. I do them more on YouTube. We're going to keep the podcast on Twitch because, well, I just enjoy... I want to keep it a separate thing. That way I can say things like fuck. Because sometimes they just slip out when I'm talking a lot, and I don't want that to.
We don't want this to be censored at all.
Right.
If we can help it.
Right. So, all right. I will see you guys around. Peace.
Bye.